in his offices, Vayner in New York. Tony Robbins was there a couple of weeks ago, warming my seat, it seems. So it was pretty cool. I'm just kidding. Tony's the greatest. But again, how the hell does Glenn Twiddle get in the same seat as Tony? I mean, what's his name? John Legend was in that seat a couple of days ago. You know, it's action here. You know, I thank Correct Forever for those lessons of taking action. So here's a nice principle that I like. If you can't find a valid example for success in your business, take what the masses do and do the opposite. Cool, kind of. Every other speaker in my position that does not deserve to be on the big thing would find ways to ask producers, please, can I speak? They'd find big conferences, please, can I speak? Well, I do the opposite of that and run my own, you know? And this is that thing I was talking about before. This is the principle that I'll kind of really, you know, we've got a few minutes to teach you a few tactics, so this is the thing. This is what I was saying before. A generalist gets remunerated, like you were saying before, at $40 for the personal trainer. The next step up that kind of pyramid is someone who specialises. So in the medical world, we were talking about Dr. Phil before, how much does an ear, nose and throat specialist perhaps get? You know, you see they get more than their general practitioner counterpart, yeah? And yet at the top of that pyramid is the celebrity specialist. That's what I was talking about. If you can become the famous version of what it is you do, then you're going to be on the right track. And so what I did is I kind of reverse engineered what makes the famous famous. And of course we haven't got time to go through all of that today, but I'll give you one or two tactics out of the 5 that just really one, really, because if you want to hit me up on Facebook, hit me up and I'll get you a 2-hour training. I won't charge you anything, just hit me up on Facebook and I'll get you a 2-hour version and it'll teach you the others. But here's the first one. If that's the world we live in, and it is, how do we cut through that clutter? Metaphorically, you see what I'm saying? They say that depending on whose stat you read, 5,000 to 30,000 pieces of marketing hit our eyes and ears every day. Right? 5,000 to 30,000. How do we cut through that? You know, because that's the key. So imagine that's a Tokyo street or something, and you put that dude there, right? What would happen? You know, well, that's what would happen. You know? Now, I couldn't. That's not Arnold, right? I could only find Hulk Hogan. But it's by drawing people to you rather than forcing yourself upon them, and that's kind of, we call it maybe magnetic. Because the old ways of marketing aren't going to work for much longer or at all, and it isn't going to get better. So step 1 in this kind of 5-step process, because I reverse engineered what makes famous people famous, right? You know what I mean? How do you become the celebrity specialist? What's Dr. Phil got that his generalist counterpart does not have? What has Gillian Michaels got? What has Dr. Phil got? What have these famous celebrity experts in their field got that their generalist counterpart does not? So the first one is they associate with other celebs. They get selfies with other celebs. You know, in the weeks before I went to Arnold's house for the first time, I saw Arnold with a photo with Ronda Rousey and The Rock. And by the way, I thought to myself, if they are at his poker game, I will not be responsible for what I do. They weren't there though. Don Cheadle was there, and there was a bunch of other celebs, but The Rock wasn't. So, but Tim Ferriss was there. I dragged Tim into Arnold's photo booth and stuff. So what I'm saying is, step 1 is celebs get photographed with other celebs. So if you meet anyone here today, correct, get the photo with them, put it up on your social media and stuff. There's Don Cheadle, Alice Cooper, Tim Minchin, right? Eric E.T. if you haven't seen. So all of this is because of the power of association. Because by me being there, even though it's undeserved, that gives me more credibility, and I go a few steps up in that celebrity kind of pyramid to my audience. So, and again, that was the event a couple of weeks ago. So, I don't know if you guys want to know UFC legend, so of the Hulk. Of course, but again, Glenn Twiddle doesn't deserve to be there, and yet there he is. So, Arnold, have a look on his page. Arnold tweeted me on this thing. Now, he's always giving me shit about carrying a few too many extra pounds. But yeah, so that's him tweeting this video. So this is the first time.
When he promised me that he's gonna lose weight.
The first time, right? The first event.
That he's gonna get a 6-pack, and he's gonna get ripped, and he's gonna have tremendous muscle separation, and he's gonna enter the Arnold Classic in Melbourne. That's when I committed, and I said, yes, I'm gonna be here. So I can see you in tremendous shape.
And there's been the fetal position. Right, look, I'm dying there, right?
Glenn and I cannot wait to see you at the Total Success Summit. in Australia, specifically in Sydney. But remember, Glenn, you got to have your body fat below 20%, otherwise you can't get into the door because we're gonna have a fat meter there. Can that one?
So he invites me to Gold's Gym to work out with him.
Wow, good to see you, man. Thank you again. I've been going good, and look at what he does to me, huh?
One, come on, two, slow. Okay. Three, exhale, and way up. Good. Three more reps. Two more reps. Did I say slow it down? Sorry. Listen. Okay, one more. All right. Good. Very nice. You see? Look already started. Now let me do this.
Okay.
You should. You're not even counting out the reps for me.
How many do you need? How many do you want? Maybe 30 more. Is that okay? That's good. One more. One more. You got to do it. Give me 2 more, just for punishment. All right.
All right. Good job. Good job.
All right, so you can kind of see that with all of this, when I showed all this stuff to my marketplace, do you see how all of this gives me that little bit of extra cred where I become a little bit, I don't become a better real estate coach, I don't become a better marketing and branding coach, but that association has put me at the top or near the top of my game. And I tell you, there's a sea of sameness that do what I do, right? There's a million of us. It's like the ratio of coaches to real estate agents is approaching 1 to 1. Like you could all have your own individual one and never double up, you know? There's a lot of, so that's kind of what we had to do. That there on the front page of the paper, by the way, that photo is going straight to the pool room, right? I don't know if you guys know that. Yeah, the pool room. For us Aussies know that, you know, the pool room. So, very cool. Thank you, man.
For the second time, Arnold Schwarzenegger, guys, I give you the Governator.
It's my bloody Stallone music, right? That's what it is. I know.
Well, thank you very much, Glenn, for the wonderful pump up. Man, he really knows how to fire everybody up. It is fantastic. And I don't know if he told you about when he came over to Los Angeles and he said to me in Gold's Gym, he says, Arnold, can we do a little interview? I want to show something about the seminar and promote it over there in Australia. So I knew that he wanted something. So I put the squeeze on him. I said, Glenn, only if you work out with me. So he had no choice because he wanted to have that interview with me at Gold's Gym. So he worked out with me. And I have to say that I was really impressed. I mean, we always kidding, but I mean, this guy really got his act together. We worked out set after set, and he did a fantastic job. So he's gonna be, I think, the next Mr. Australia, the way I see that. So let's give a big hand.
So I tell you, for a bloke from Ipswich who didn't deserve who idolised this guy, to kind of have a relationship like that with him, A, it's great for business, but B, you know, the dreams kind of do come true. That's us recreating the scene from Predator. Remember the thing? So, all right, so kind of, that's sort of step one. That's, you know, by seeing, that's one out of a few steps. I call it the power of association. If you can associate with some of these people to your marketplace, that credibility rubs off. And I'll just finish with this principle. 44 years old, so back as a teenager, idolising Arnold Schwarzenegger as a kid, idolising Richard Branson as an adult entrepreneur, idolising Gary Vaynerchuk as a marketing legend. You know, these are all my idols that I now get to work with, and I'm just honoured to do so. But what are the odds of someone getting to hang out with socially, work out with at Gold's Gym, work with in his business, his childhood hero? I mean, out of 44-year-olds, there would be literally millions to one, the odds of me doing this. Because I didn't come from anything, right? I came from a little backwater town. I don't know what the equivalent of Ipswich would be here in the States, maybe Jersey to New York or something, I don't know, but the odds of me doing what I've done are literally millions to one. Millions to one. Because there'll be millions of 44-year-olds that would love to have that photo in the gym with Arnold, right? Millions to one. So I don't know if someone else has ever said this, but I'm sure they have, and I'm sure they would say it better than me. But I will just close with this. If the odds of you kind of doing what you want to do are millions to one, I suppose my advice would be, some bastard's got to be the one. You know what I'm saying? And I tell you, I can't believe that in some weird way, because of mentors like Couric in those early days who made me kind of think a bit bigger than I used to think with my little backwater town mentality, some bastard's got to be the one. And in this case, well, I don't know how, but I'm the one. Holy shit. So I would just say thank you very much for having me, Couric, man. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Riddle.
Thanks, guys. All right.
Yeah, you know, and the thing is that, anybody know here the actor Danny Trejo? I worked on a movie with Danny where it was his first movie. It was called Lock Up with Sylvester Stallone. And there was a guy that was also in the movie, Michael Petroni, also known as, his nickname was Bam Bam, who had spent 15 years in San Quentin. And him and Danny were actually roommates at San Quentin, and Lock Up was Danny's first movie. Now you look at his whole career, what he's done, anybody can make it. Anybody can do it. What Glenn's talking about is that, you know, there's a lot of powerful people here in the room. You have the speakers, get photos with them, start associating with people. It's one of the things that I've learned very young is that if you hang out with successful people, you become one. Hang out with losers, you become one. You're a product of your environment. And I've been very fortunate. Some of my great mentors are in the room here that raised me. Madison and Linda. Madison, you've done like what, 4,000 movies and TV roles, something like that. Weren't you in the 10 Commandments, the original? Madison's, you'll recognize Madison's done so many movies. Linda gave me my first job working behind the camera. My mentors who raised me, but also as I learned how to hang out with people like that because you start emulating them. So give another round of applause for Glenn Twiddle. Our next speaker is really exciting to have him again. The co-founder and co-creator of Paul Mitchell Hair Care Products Schools. He's also the dean of the schools. Is he still in the room? Yeah, there he is. He's in black, sorry. And amazing speaker, amazing story. I'm going to let him probably tell it to you through this video, and I'm not going to waste too much of my time up here, your time, camera's on. So, ladies and gentlemen, Win Claybaugh. Give a big round of applause. A big round!
As a speaker, I've never taken it for granted that I have the opportunity to stand on stages all over the world and share my stories and my passion. For me, the best teachers and mentors are storytellers. I love telling not only my stories, but the stories of my mentors and my teachers.
I think I'd be a better spokesperson for Paul Mitchell. I mean, really.
This feels like a basketball. What can I say? The ball is man.
Many people have said that they think it's almost silly that someone had to write a book on the topic of being nice. But in today's world, I don't believe there's a more important message than this one. I heard it once said that hairdressers and other beauty professionals go to work every single day with the intention of having fun. Now that's the culture I want to be a part of, which is why I love being the co-founder and dean of Paul Mitchell Schools. I'm not a big reader, but I've always been attracted to successful people and their stories. So the way I've always gained that knowledge was to ask questions from my mentors and heroes. Once I decided to add a microphone to the equation, Masters was born so everyone could hear their answers. Because of my upbringing with my wonderful parents, giving back, raising money, and making a difference has always been just as important as putting money into my own pocket. We all have power and influence, and I want to be part of those attractive people who use that influence to give back. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. Thanks for the opportunity, Kirk. I'm honored to be here. I'm also nervous to be here. I've been doing seminars for years. I get nervous every single time. In fact, according to the Book of Lists, the number one fear is public speaking. Did you know that? Well, the number two fear is death by fire. So, you know how I feel right now. And also, Glenn, thank you for that. I also believe in begging, because I don't know about you guys, but for me, the phone does not ring. Everybody's waiting for the phone to ring. The phone does not ring. You know, we make our own opportunities. I remember interviewing this very successful man who says that his salons have been voted the best salons in the Twin Cities for the last 10 years in a row. And I said to him, I said, that's incredible. I said, who voted? He said, I did. So yeah, we make these things happen for ourselves. So I wrote this book called Be Nice or Else. I have this story that this good friend of mine, CW, was in the airport waiting for this delayed flight, and all the passengers were patiently waiting for this delayed flight, except for this one man who for some reason was really upset over this delayed flight, and so he was abusing the poor ticketing agent, who obviously had no control over why this flight was delayed, but he was loud, mean, and aggressive to this poor woman. So my friend CW comes up to this abusive man and he says, excuse me, sir, but can I have your autograph? And the abusive man stepped back and he said, why do you want my autograph? And CW said, because I've never met the center of the universe before. How many of you can't wait to use that sometime? Yeah. You know, bottom line in writing this book, I wanted to give nice people a voice, because I think mean, nasty people have had a voice for way too long. And so people often ask me, well, what's the or else part of be nice? And for me, be nice or else means be nice or have a miserable life. Because, again, we all believe in the law of attraction, that what you put out there comes back to you. So, but I don't mind sharing with you that for me, being happy has never been something that was natural to me. It seems like happiness is something that comes natural to other people. To me, my entire life, it never has. And by the way, that used to piss me off. Because I used to think, okay, how many more seminars do I have to go to on self-esteem? You know, why can't I coast once in a while? Well, I can't. I know that there are certain things that I have to do every single day just to be happy. How many of you can relate to this? Yeah, it's most of us. See, I used to believe that, well, some people are meant to be happy, but not me. Some people were born with blue eyes. I was born with brown eyes. Some people were born naturally to be happy, but I'm not lucky enough to be one of those people, and there's nothing I can do about it. I really believed that until I was well into my 20s. But then fortunately, I got connected to this incredible circle of friends, and they started introducing me to these wonderful mentors. You talked about mentors. And what these friends and mentors taught me to do way back then, this was huge for me then, but it's still huge for me today. And by the way, I don't know anybody who couldn't use a little bit more happiness. It's not like you wake up one day and say, you know what, I have plenty of happiness, no more, thank you very much. So who's on this journey with me? Who needs some more happiness here? Yeah, okay, so here's what they taught me. To divorce myself from what I now call garbage negative programming. Meaning, I had to get away from the things that were blocking or blurring my perception of what it means to be happy. So I want to just share with you a few of those blockages. Garbage programming. If you were all to be honest with us, how many of you would admit that there are some negative reality shows that you watch, and these shows don't have the nicest people nor the nicest messages, but hey, you watch them anyway? How many of you would admit to that? Okay, well, what are the names of these shows? Yell it out to me. What are the names?
The news.
Okay, the news. There you go. That's the reality one. Jerry Springer. There you go. Yeah, there's a lot of them. You know, I put all of them under the Jerry Springer umbrella because I think that Jerry Springer was the first that over 25 years ago started that negative genre of reality shows. Now, you know, I'm the same as all of you. So I could be at home and I could be alone, so no one really knows what I'm watching. But I'm flipping through the channels and I make a choice because, as we all know, life is a choice. I make a choice that I'm going to stop just for a minute and watch Jerry Springer. So I'm watching this show and I'm like, hit her, hit her. You know what, I'm not that strong. I know I just can't go there. Remember, I struggle with my own happiness every single day. So for me to think that I can spend even 1 minute watching a show with a bunch of miserable, see, that would be like an alcoholic saying, I can stop at the bar just for a minute. No, you can't. And I can't stop on Jerry Springer for a minute. You know, I'm not saying that you can't watch TV because I can't make it through the day without Golden Girls. But you have to make a choice. You know, what do you need to divorce yourself from? Now, again, my book is called Be Nice, but it could be, you know, How to Be Happy. Because a mean, nasty person, are they happy or unhappy? Unhappy. So all those people on all those negative reality shows, the Real Housewives of every city, right? Are those people happy or unhappy? Unhappy. But then what do sometimes? You invite them right into your living room to hang out with you, your friends, your family, your kids, right? Now, Oprah, we love Oprah. Years ago did this story on domestic violence. So here's Oprah using her power, her influence, and by the way, we all have power and influence. Anybody here have 100 Facebook friends? Okay, so that's your audience. Now, Oprah's audience is perhaps a little larger than yours, but you have an audience as well. So how are you using your power and your influence? Are you running a Jerry Springer show in your social media outlets? Right? That bitch at work, what she did to me. Is that how you're using your power, spreading misery and gloom? Now, again, we all have that power and that influence. Divorce yourself from the garbage. You mentioned the 10 o'clock, I don't watch the news. I don't need to know how many murders there were in this city. And the 10 o'clock news will give you very accurate facts about crime, about violence, about who embezzled from who. But they don't tell you how many people fell in love that day. They don't tell you how many people volunteered their time that day, right? And I call myself a day maker, which means it's my job to make people's day. I need the good information. So we divorce ourselves from that garbage programming. Now, how many of you would admit that maybe there are people in your life that are, you know, pretty negative, they might gossip a lot, they might put people down a lot, in fact, they might even put you down a lot, but you still hang out with them. How many of you would admit to that? Okay. This coming November, I will celebrate 15 years clean off of drugs. Now, the day that I decided to get clean, could I still hang out with the people that I had that drug lifestyle with?
No.
Could I still just call them on occasion and say, hey, what's up? Could I still do that?
No.
No, what did I have to do? Completely divorce myself from these people. Now, did I divorce myself from these people because I now feel like I'm better than they are? I'm now judging them? Is that why I did that? No. I divorced myself from these people because I now love myself enough to stay away. I want you to love yourself enough to stay away from the things that are threatening, compromising your happiness, your self-esteem. Now, how I like to look at it is that we all have this reservoir. So do me a favor, go like this. Even you cool people, go like this. Okay, so this is a reservoir. And this reservoir is filled with everything that makes you who you are, everything that makes you wonderful. So this reservoir is filled with your dreams, your personality, your talents, your skills, your desires. Do you ever feel sometimes that at the end of the day, that reservoir is drained and empty? Yeah. Now, how does it get drained? Traffic. A jerk of a boss. Too many bills, not enough money. All these things will drain your reservoir. Now, my concern is how do you fill this reservoir back up? And by the way, what works for you is very different than what works for you. But you have to know what works for you to fill up your reservoir, and you got to figure that out as well. Bottom line, here's the big question. Whose job is it to fill up your reservoir every day? Whose job is that? It's your job. Nobody owes that to you. Whose job is it to make you happy? It's your job. Nobody owes that to you. You're so upset because so-and-so won't send you flowers. Send yourself some flowers. This is your responsibility. And by the way, who are you blaming? Because when you blame, you give your power away. It's their fault that I'm not happy. It's their fault that I'm not successful. You give your power away. Take that power back. I am responsible. And if you break that down, I am response-able. I'm able to choose my response to the situations that life gives to me. Now, so, we're here to share, and so people often ask me, Win, what are some of the things that you do every single day to fill up your reservoir? And I'll share a few with you. I go to the gym about 5 days a week. Now, I don't naturally enjoy the gym. Does that mean that I have the option to not go? No, I don't have that option. I have a 5-year-old daughter. I'm going to be 70 when she graduates from high school. I got to go to the gym. I need that energy. Now, I can be bitter at the gym, or I can be better at the gym. I can choose to make the gym fun. Which one do I choose? I choose to have fun at the gym. Well, for me, there's 2 steps to make anything fun. Number 1, get a mentor. Get a mentor. Because if they did it, you can do it too. So, do you want to go to the gym with somebody in better shape or worse shape than you?
Better shape.
The answer is better. Like worse is going to motivate you. Keep working out, you fat pig. Better. Because that's the mentor. If they did it, if you want to get better at tennis, you play with somebody better than you or worse than you? Better. Okay, so find those mentors. Choose wisely your mentors. Because sometimes you'll ask for relationship advice from your friend who's been divorced 3 times and now she hates men. That's not a mentor. Okay? Mentors, people who are successful in that area. But the second step to make anything fun, find people who want to play with you. Find people who want to play with you. So every time I go to the gym, I'm always recruiting people to go with me. Because if I go by myself, I get bored easy, I leave early. I was once at one of my schools, and I have about over 100 schools across the country, and there's a gym right next to the school, and I'm recruiting. Who wants to go to the gym with me? 3 people said, yeah, we want to go. 2 of my students and one of my teachers, one of my learning leaders, she's like, I want to go, and she's like 60 years old. I want to go. Well, she had this new full-body pink leotard that day. Went from like here to here, and she's running around the gym like this. She's like backwards, upside down, the wrong way on the machines. The trainers at the gym are like, what is that big pink woman doing over there? The 3 of us are laughing with her, and what happened? We had a great workout, and it was fun, right? See, we have to make things fun. What else do I do to fill up this reservoir? I call my mom every single day. My mom is 90 years old. How much longer am I going to have that opportunity? And Lisa Gibbons kind of taught me that, because Lisa's mom passed away about 7 years ago. But Lisa will tell you that she really lost her mom in 1999 to Alzheimer's, and how it just broke her heart, knowing that her mom, her best friend, was still alive, but she couldn't connect with her anymore. And so I connect with my mom every single day. My father passed away almost 3 years ago. I would connect with both of them every single day. One of my mantras is no regrets. I want to live a life with no regrets. Now, years ago, I had a life that was full of regrets. I regretted that drug addiction, and one of the things that I regretted many years ago was that I didn't have a relationship with my father. Well, fortunately, he and I figured that out, and we had this incredible relationship, and I was right there, holding his hand when he took his last breath. Our final words to each other were, I love you, and I can honestly tell you, I have no regrets. Now, obviously, I'm sad about it, but I have no regrets. Now, can I say that about everybody in my life? No, but I'm working on it. I mean, I have a list. Any of you have a list? I'm going down my list. Dad, check. You know, I was recently teaching at my school in Modesto, California. And I'm not sure why he was there, but the chief of police from Modesto was at that Paul Mitchell school in my seminar, and afterwards he pulled me aside and he said, hey, I heard what you said, the story about your father and about no regrets. He said, my 80-year-old father lives 5 minutes from my house and I haven't seen him in 5 years. But because of what you said tonight, I'm getting in my car and I'm driving straight to my father's house. No regrets. And then he took off his chief of police pen and he gave it to me. I don't really know what that means. I think it means if I get pulled over, I just have to go. See, but the cool thing was, he didn't say, you know, I'm gonna try to find the time next month to go see my father. He said, no regrets. I was teaching at one of my schools and a student came up to me. She said, Win, I'm 17 years old and not once in my entire life has my father ever told me that he loves me. She said, but guess what? I've never told him either, but I'm going to tonight. Isn't that great? Yeah. See, sometimes we're always thinking that it's the other person that needs to make the move. We focus on what other people should learn rather than focusing on our own lessons. You know, I think a lot about September 11th and the lessons that we learned that day. There were people on a plane or in the towers who all of a sudden they knew that they had a small chance to make a phone call. Now here's the deal. They didn't call their boss to say, how dare you not give me that raise. They didn't call an enemy to fight it out again. They called a loved one. They only had one message, and what was the message? I love you. Nothing else mattered. Well, why today do so many other things matter to you that seem to be far more important than us making those connections? And so again, I call my mom every single day. Talking about mentors, you know, my parents were my mentors. They were getting ready to celebrate 72 years of marriage. I know people who can't keep it together for 72 days. You know, they had 72 years of kindness and romance and humor. How many of you want that? Okay, well, who influences you? Who influences you? You show me right now your circle of friends, the people that you are choosing to spend time with right now, and I'll tell you exactly where you're going to be in a year from now and 10 years from now. You show me that circle that you're choosing to hang around, I'll tell you how much money is going to be in your bank account in about 10 years from now. Based on who you're hanging around today. I'll tell you what your marriage will look like, what your self-esteem will be all about, based on who influences you today. And so maybe some of us have that difficult decision to make about who should be in your life and maybe who should not be in your life. Because I heard it once said that people who have abandoned their dreams will try to steal yours. So, who influences you? You know, I'll tell you something, little kids influence me because, I don't know about you guys, but I can get way too serious. How many of you are like this as well? Oh yeah, we get so serious, right? About stupid stuff. You know, if you're the boss, it's like, it's payroll today. Okay, stay away from the boss. Not really sure what that means, but you know, stay away from the boss, right? We get so serious, and I can easily get that way, so I need a lot of little kids in my life. Right? Because, you know, little kids teach me to be silly, a little irresponsible. I have 90 nieces and nephews. No, I really do. They all live in Utah. Go figure. By the way, I am the favorite uncle. Duh. Cost me a lot of money, but I'm the favorite. You know, when I'm hanging out with the family, I don't want to sit at the adult table. That's boring to me. I want to sit with the kids. And I'm not sitting with the kids at a fancy restaurant trying to teach them how to be all proper. I'm like, what do you guys want to do, right? Because my world's way too serious, right? You know, how many of you have little kids at home? You guys do this. Ask a little child what makes them happy. They could go on and on about what makes them happy. True? Ask the average adult what makes them happy. I can tell you what pisses me off. I don't need to know that. Right? You can walk into a kindergarten class filled with a bunch of 5-year-olds, and if you ask all the little kids, okay, how many of you are really good at art? How many hands are going to go up? How many of you are really good at playing a musical instrument? How many hands? Ask a room full of adults. How many of you are really good at playing a musical instrument? Well, here's the deal. Okay, I took piano lessons for like 20 years, but no, I'm just not good at that. Right, like where do we lose it? I need little kids, right? Little kids, they have their little action figurines, like, look, I'm Superman, I'm Batgirl. They're not like, I'm Loser Man. I'll never amount to much, man. See, little kids, they play big. We play small sometimes. We play small. No, I'm not gonna sign up. They don't need me. I'm not gonna volunteer. We play small. Playing small on any level, who does that serve? Serves no one. So again, who influences you? Well, my parents influenced me when it comes to having a successful marriage, right? Because how my dad looked at my mom was, that's his 16-year-old high school sweetheart when he married her, and he vowed to take care of her for the rest of his life. Like they'd both be sitting there watching TV and my mom would go to get up because she needed something. My dad'd be like, Gene, sit down, I'll get it. I said I'll get it. My mom would sit back down, she'd be like, like a 16-year-old schoolgirl. After 72 years, she would still blush when he treated her that way, right? Can I also tell you that my parents are my mentors when it comes to aging? You know, I'm in the hair industry. I'm in the beauty industry. But, you know, our society has some real issues about aging. Do you agree? Yeah. Like we value old wine, old artwork, old buildings. What's the one old thing that we don't value? People. Old people, or even our own old skins, right? Like people say, oh, I hate getting older. I'm like, no, you don't. Because what's the alternative to aging? Dead, you're dead. So how can you hate something that you actually want to have happen? So we have to change our language. Tell people, I love getting older because that's what you want, right? And my parents were great mentors for that because, you know, how my parents looked at aging, they just thought it was funny, right? Like, you know those bathtubs where you, by the way, when you showed me the sign, it was black. I had no idea how much time I have, okay? Okay, thank you. You know those bathtubs where you open the door, you sit down and it fills up? I bought them one of those because apparently on 2 occasions, my father got into the regular old traditional tub and he couldn't get it back out, right? So he calls for my mom to come and help him. My mom is short, my dad was tall, and my mom is the type of person who laughs when it's very inappropriate. Like if I tripped and fell right now, she'd go, hee, you know, this nervous giggle, right? So she's trying to help him out of the bathtub. She's uncomfortable, so she starts laughing, which meant she's no help to my father. So then they called the neighbor. So I'm picturing this naked, wrinkly dad over here, mom laughing over here, and this poor neighbor helping him out of the tub. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna buy you this new bathtub, right? They have a dog named Nick. You know, Nick was sick. To give a dog a pill, you have to wrap it in a piece of meat, right? My mom prepared that, turned away, gone. Dad ate it. And she couldn't wait to call me. Guess what your dad just did, right? Yeah. Who influences you? So, to start to wrap things up here, so we bring all of our school leaders together on a regular basis. We've had, you know, the brilliant Kathy Buckley there, and years ago we had this speaker by the name of Sister Bonnie, a Catholic nun who decided to become a hairdresser so that she could do hair for the homeless. So get this, she gets permission from the Catholic Church to enroll in beauty school, graduates and opens up her salon, which she named the Pearly Gates Salon. It was located in a tiny bathroom of a shower facility for the homeless in downtown Cincinnati. I flew out there and spent a couple of days with Sister Bonnie. She showed me this little tiny bathroom where she cut hair for 7 years and did 10,000 homeless people. And she said to me, Win, I am the only Catholic nun that could say, I've been in the bathroom with 10,000 men and they all came out smiling. And then she said, my clients happen to be homeless, so of course, they don't pay me anything for my services. Maybe your clients are paying you $5 or thousands of dollars, but they're homeless on the inside. Hearing her story reminded me of an experiment that I read about that happened in the early 1900s in an orphanage, where they divided the infants into two groups. The first group of infants, they fed them and clothed them, and that was it. The second group of infants, they fed them, clothed them, touched them, cradled them, read to them, sang to them. And they tried to reverse the process, and in some cases it was too late, that some of the infants in the first group actually turned their face to the wall and died of a disease called marasma. All marasma means is a lack of touch. People can die from that. You know, I'm not a hairdresser, so I don't have a license in my industry to touch people. I don't know what you all do for a living, but just remember, it doesn't matter what you do, we all touch people on so many levels. Never underestimate the power of what it is that we all do. Thank you, everybody.
When are your books available for people?
Yes, they are.
There you go. So, and then you have the DVD version as well, is that correct?
Yes.
Great. And they'll be here to sign it. We are going to, how long is the break? By the way, the co-owner and founder of Action Heroes Incorporated is my beautiful wife, Erin. Take action, you get rewarded. So how long is our break? We're back at 11. Now, we have the legend, Kathy Buckley here. You definitely want to come back. Also, throughout the day, by the way, just for housekeeping, is outside and down the escalators or bathrooms, and then there's also some down the hallway. There's food courts downstairs, coffee, things like that. When we break for lunch, which will be after this break a little bit later, and we have some great speakers for you. I'm really excited you guys are all here. Give yourselves a round of applause. And we'll see you at 11 o'clock. And take pictures in front of the banners and with some of the people here.
Yeah, you're gonna be like a great guy. Yeah.